Yo, what is up? I am live. It's been a minute. It's been a long time in this vibe coding to a million gazillion dollars. That's what we're about. Well, it's just a little bit about what we're about over here, but um, a lot has changed. A lot has changed, guys. I know you guys have probably missed me, but better late than never. So let me give you an update on what's been going on over here in designer Malcolm world. So if you um, are new here, this is a series that we're doing. Feel like it's a good time for this series. Essentially, what we're doing is building um, a application, building a live application. We're building an application live. We're building a lot of things live actually, but there's been a lot of shit, positive shit that's been going on in my life. If you haven't noticed, I'm in a new spot, a new space. So I've been trying to get that together. It's got some shit in the background, so don't mind that. But we've relocated to a better spot, more space to be creative, more space to develop things that are on the cutting edge from a design standpoint and from a agentic development standpoint. If you're new to this series, this is a vibe coding series. I'm calling it that because that's what's trendy. And you know how we roll over here. We're trying to get, at least picked up by the algo. So, but really it's a little bit different over here. So my background is design. And so we usually focus um, on leading with design first before we hop into anything agentic. As you know, there's just a proliferation of AI slop out there. And so if you rock with me on this side of the internet, um, I help you develop your taste, your skill, because that's what's going to set you apart. Not only that, but your ability to sell. So enough on that. So what's been going on? What's been going on? Well, since we last talked, since I last went live, a lot of stuff has happened in the agentic space. Um, if if you're not living under a rock, you're aware that we now have OpenClaw, which was a huge breakthrough. Um, Claude has they've dropped their new Claude workspace. Um, it's an arms race for these big guys. But what does that mean for us? That means for us little builders, us small fries out here, competition is good. And so I hope even though you haven't been with me, you guys have been chugging along. I plan on being more consistent. My live series is a little different. I'm not here to um, really, how do I say this? My goal is to provide value here, and as a byproduct of that, I'll show you some of the things that I'm building. Um, some of these tools may be useful to you, some may not. But let's hop into this. Let's hop into this. This is going to be a really chill, kind of get back in the flow of things, kind of stream. Um, so the first thing I want to highlight is what I've been focusing on. So even though I haven't been live streaming and it says day 6, this is more like day 60 for me because I have been in cursor nonstop. Probably have blown like a few grand on building a few tools that I believe um, are going to be beneficial. The current issue I'm having with what I'm seeing is everyone wants to build tools for like developer tools, right? Or some sort of creative clipping tool, right? No one's really thinking ahead. And so that's a problem to me. If no one's really thinking ahead and they're only designing or building like for what's in front of them, I think a lot of these companies you see, these little startups won't last, right? Like, do we really need another agentic development platform? Do we really need another um, vibe coding platform? No. I think we're moving away from that. I believe people are going to use applications less and less, and that's the future that I want to build for, right? Um, think about it. Like, how often does the local business owner or someone you know opens up Lovable or Replit and builds an app? That's a very niche use case. But these people out here who aren't deep into this space, they just want something simple. They want to get up and they want to go and they want to just have something easy. And so, we've really been developing for that. We've really been you got to kind of place bets, right? You have to anticipate things. Also, another principle here is we don't try and over optimize. So you're not going to see me talk about the latest model, or you're not going to see me talk about the latest vibe coding tool. I think that's all preference, right? I love Cursor. That's my tool of choice. I haven't really touched Claude Code. So if you want Claude Code tips and tricks, there's a lot of great YouTubers out there. But what I've noticed is it's not about the tool, right? At the end of the day, it's about the product, and then whether or not you can sell that product. And shout out to Tommy. Awesome, bro. Hey, I don't know if that's you that keeps kind of poking around in that tool I built. I think but if that is you, man, DM me. You, if it is you, DM me. You have helped me out a lot. Um, I had to patch up some things. No hate over here. Like I totally love that. I don't know if that's you or not, but if it is, you know what I'm talking about. I would love to connect with you, man. Like just to be completely transparent, I'm a product designer, so my skill set is design, and I'm not here to say I'm oh, okay. No worries, man. There's a smart guy who's been able to kind of bypass some things within my application. But yeah, glad to have you, Tommy. But let's hop into this. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is, let's see if I can add something here. Bear with me. Agentic founder. Got it. And if you're building something cool, please share. I would love to hear about some of the ideas you guys are working on. Some of the software or concepts you guys are mulling over. It's definitely an exciting time. I talked to my buddy about this, one of my good friends, and we just talk about how blessed we are to just have access to these tools, right? To this technology. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is I dropped a research journal called Agentic Founder. You can find it at agenticfounder.org. Excuse me. And the goal here is, as I've been building stuff, what I've noticed is here, let me see if I can, there we go. Let's see if I can make myself smaller. Cool. Yeah, what I've noticed is in the agentic space, or the AI space, a lot of people are asking the wrong questions, in my opinion, and that's fine. But I think the way you stand out and the way you become, someone who's respected, is to think about AI and what's being developed differently, right? And one of the questions, oh, totally, man. Let's definitely share ideas. Oh, I would love that. I'm always up for that, Tommy. Just yeah, shoot me a DM. Let's collab. Let's connect, man. I would love to do that. Love meeting new people. Love connecting. Love seeing where I can help bring value. So totally open, man. But let's hop into this. Agentic Founder is basically my research journal, and it's a research journal that I developed asking different questions. Typically what you'll see is a lot of people ask, like, hey, how can I make money with OpenClaw? Or hey, how can I get it to write emails for me? Or hey, this, hey, that. It's very linear thinking. And that's fine, because I believe we have to kind of meet people where they're at. And, if you're new to this technology, you want it to be simple. You want it to be something that makes sense to you, right? But I challenge the people out there who are just power users, and you know who you are, the people who are burning 2 million tokens in an hour. I really challenge you guys to think differently about AI, right? Like it's not, it's more than just building a trade bot to scout Polymarket, right? That's such a amateur way to think. And if you are someone who's really using these tools every day, think about this, like really challenge yourself and create a journal yourself. Because what that'll do is that'll build up a bunch of receipts, and you'll start to see your ideas will get challenged, which is great. People will start to respect you more. People will start to, ask your opinion, and I think everyone has an opinion, and it's good to have that discourse. But so one of the main thesis that we found in that I'm highlighting here in Agentic Founder is this idea of agentic organizations. And how I came across this was the application that I'm currently building, and I'll share with you guys in a minute what that is. But we have right now we're at a place where everyone is building for access, right, to AI agents. How do we give AI agents access to more tools? How do we give AI agents access to more skills? How do we give agents access? And this is great, right? This is great, especially for those people who, like myself, I'm this way. Like we all have our Claw probably set up, and that's like our little personal Jarvis, right? And we want him to have access to all the tools possible, you know, Telegram, email, like that's great. And I think we have a lot of great uh, new discoveries and new people coming out with great tools, and you have marketplaces popping up. But for me, what I was curious about is what happens when we get beyond access, and what does that future look like? And the future looks like, and there's multiple futures you could say, right? But what I really see is the goal of most businesses and enterprise clients is how do we have an agentic organization where there's checks and balances. There's there's an architecture where you remove the human entirely. And to me, that is what's exciting, because I can't remember who I got this from, but it's not an original thought, but the idea was that we as humans, we are the bottleneck when it comes to working with this fronting edge technology. And I truly believe that. I truly believe we are the bottleneck. I truly believe that, you know, um, we are the bottleneck when it comes to, I believe, in the entrepreneur space. If you want to run a business, if you want to start a company, what's the end goal that a lot of these founders do? Like, think about the big guys. They eventually end up delegating everything. They hire their own CEO. They just kind of step back and go sailing on their yacht, right? That's like obviously goals, but the meat there is how do we create these organizations that are fully agentic without us being involved. So this is something that I'm currently working through, and I want to share with you a framework that I've came up with, and I think it's brilliant. And if you stick with me and you keep following me, I plan on releasing bits of this code as open source, right? I really want to give back to the dev community, really want to give back to builders, and I want my ideas to be challenged and critiqued, because I ultimately want this. I'm all about AI for all, right? And that's kind of why the tool that I'll share with you later, why I'm building it, because working with my buddy, he installed OpenClaw, and it was a fucking nightmare. Like it was great. Like we eventually got it to the point where now it's building apps and it's doing a lot for them. But most people don't want to look at a fucking terminal. Who wants to look at a terminal? I don't want to look at a terminal. And I work in Cursor all day. I don't even open up the terminal inside of Cursor. My workflow inside of Cursor is I have the agent, I have my files open, but sometimes you have to dig in the terminal, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's important. But this idea that with these tools, how are these agents really operating with inside of an organization to bring it back home is important. And so I came up with this concept that I plan on opening into a repo. Um, it's called the discipline stack. And if you think about any successful organization, a successful organization has a level of discipline in it. And the way I describe the discipline stack is it's a four-layer model for agent governance, and it consists of hard guards, which are non-negotiable constraints. So for instance, an agent cannot delete production data. An agent cannot commit code without tests passing. An agent cannot authorize spending above a threshold. And these are binary, these are permitted or not, right? So these are hard guards. Then there's soft norms, behavioral guidelines that shape decisions patterns without hard enforcement, prefer concise communication. You can escalate to ambiguity rather than guessing, and then defaults to the least disruptive option. These create organizational cultures for agents, right? And then you have periodic hygiene, right? This is sort of like self-improving. Schedule reviews that catch a drift before it becomes damaging, weekly audits of agent decisions, monthly assessments of whether soft norms are producing intended behavior. And then there's this constrained self-improvement, right? We want to constrain the self-improvement to a degree. And this is in the context of an organization, in the context of a company, in the context of a business. And all of these tests, just shameless plug here, I'm running it through a new tool that I built called Open Enterprise. And at its core, Open Enterprise is built off of a fork of OpenClaw. So I'm not here to compete with OpenClaw, but what I've done was I've taken, and at its core, OpenClaw is really a really robust sort of RAG kind of technology with a bunch of other things. And that itself was a unique discovery. And some people might ask, well, like, why did you fork OpenClaw? Or why are you like, what's the point? I could just go use OpenClaw. And you can, like, that's what you should do if you really are into that. But like, no one ever asks Cursor, hey, Cursor, why did you fork VS Code, right? Cursor just built on top of the open source VS Code. So that is my approach here, is building on top of this incredible discovery and technology, and then improving on it. So Open Enterprise, if you want to get to it, I believe the wait list is down, so you probably can get access to it. But I'll have to put that wait list up. But anyway, it's a unique tool that I've set up that allows people to deploy their own autonomous organizations. And it's a very, very unique space. But this is also a tool that I use to conduct these experiments. And so this discipline stack, as we were working on top of OpenClaw, I ended up building out a pretty interesting stack. And this essentially it runs as a loop, right? So this can be at the enterprise level or at the organization level as a stack, or it could be at the agent level. And the reason why this matters, this discipline stack matters, is if you're building with agents and you haven't thought about discipline architecture, I would like to call you accumulate what's called organizational debt, right? Every autonomous decision an agent makes without governance is a liability that you don't know about yet. And that's my thesis, or not my thesis, but that's something that I've kind of developed that really should be at the top of every founder's mind. And I truly believe that the founder who gets this right won't just have more capable agents, but they'll have agents that they can actually trust. And that is the point where we want to get to, is how do we trust these agents? Because if you know anything about this sort of the lore of OpenClaw, is what we've seen is it came out, it was built, it was deployed, and one of the first viral tweets or viral X comments or posts that went was that young lady who worked for Meta, and her claw, I believe it hit context limits, and it started deleting emails, right? Right off the bat, you're probably thinking like, damn, I can't trust this tool. Or for instance, we've had some security issues, right? And so that's it's always trust. It always comes down to trust, because at the core of an organization, what do you have? You have personal secure data, you have finances, you have, IP. And we want to get to a point where anyone, whether you're a Fortune 500 or you're just a small mom and pop store, where you can deploy agents that you can trust. And so that's part of this concept of the discipline stack. And it's not, no, discipline is not the boring part of the agentic systems. In my belief, it's what makes everything work. And so this is just one core concept that I'm kind of messing with here, and I'm testing inside. I have a bunch of other discoveries. I think I have a couple more. Yeah, the capability governance. So if any of this stuff, if you're like nerdy like me when it comes to this agent stuff, and you really want to, dig deep, or you want to contribute to this, I'm totally here for it. Challenge some of these ideas. But I'm excited to say I will have some open source code for you guys, and it'll be completely open source, that perhaps you can implement some of these ideas into your, let me see if I have them here, into your own workflow, into your own tools. Let's see. I think if we go in the lab, research method. Yeah. So I haven't released this stuff yet, but this will give you an idea of some of my ideas. But look out for that. And we'll go more deeply into this. I don't want to waste too much time on this agentic founder, but I want to hop into the next thing to show you guys what I've been working on and where we are at with this. Let's see. Good question, bro. You still going to host the OpenClaw meetup in Boston? Yeah, that is definitely a thing that is going down. But there's only one way to find out. There's only one way to learn about that meetup, and only one place. That's getopen.app. So if you wanna join the community, and if you want to come hang out with us, talk about claws, open claws, definitely go to getopen.app, and that's O and then PIN .app, and you can find our meetup there. Get all the details there. If you are familiar with Boston, where we will be hosting the meetup, you will know that it is a vibe, and it is a great place to be around tech and beautiful weather. So let me see here. I'm gonna show you guys what the boy has been working on since you last saw me. So we have been working on something quite dangerous, and I'm excited to share that with you today. I'm not going to go too deep, because I believe there will be a time where we can have a more in-depth demo. But let me see here. Let me turn on this playlist. Okay. Boom. All right. So one could say this is the debut of, where'd that go? Let's see. Share this tab. Hey, comment where you're at, if where are you viewing from, if you're on the stream. We're gonna come consistent. This today is a little different. I'm just catching you guys up on what I've been working on. Last time we um last time we were dialed in, um we were working on that builder application. So we're still gonna work on that. That's still something that is top of mind, but I had to go ahead and release this. So what we have here, folks, is we have openenterprise.ai. And this is, I believe, this will be the future of how companies are built. Future companies will be built on openenterprise.ai. And that is my bet. We are built on the technology of OpenClaw. So we definitely got to pay our respects there. But we're not a full OpenClaw instance, right? We have some proprietary um, some proprietary code, I guess you could say, or some unique additions and changes that we've made. And also, what we've done is we wanted to gamify the use of starting a business. So you get the engine of OpenClaw, right, and all of the updated instances, but you also get the innovation of what we're discovering. And like I said, our driving force is how do you build truly autonomous companies? And like I said, I went over some of that. But let me just kind of show you what you've been working on. And I think in the next live stream, I'll be working on this. So we'll do a little bit of agentic coding or vibe coding, and I'll show you guys my workflow, and then we'll work on that other design tool. But immediately with Open Enterprise, our goal is to get you up and running with a fully agentic company um, in less than 60 seconds. And so what you do here is you go and you launch your company. And our approach was to really gamify this experience. And this was inspired from the pain I've seen from people in installing OpenClaw. It's just so painful. It's so painful. And so I was like, we gotta fix that. This is not the sauce. And because I'm a product designer, was that? Appreciate the love on that, Cal Scott. Oh man. Yo, YouTube is censoring you. Your FBI agent cut your audio. That sucks, man. How long was I out? Oh well. Damn. I might have hit something. That's crazy. I don't know where I left off at. Damn. All right. Well, I think I was running through the dashboard, and let me show you guys where I was at. Look at that. Build in public. Ran into our first error. Let me see. I think I have a custom dashboard over here. Do I have one? Implement. Let's see. YouTube analytics. Come on, build it. So she's working on that. And while she works on that, there we go. So this, let me back up. I'm not sure. Damn, I'm not sure how much you guys missed, but I was cooking for a minute there. So let me go quick, and then we'll hop back into this. Um, Tanisha Gladwell, she's going hard right now. But I kind of let me run through. I'll run through the mission control real quick, just so you guys get let me make sure we're not muted again. Damn. All right. Viewers out there, let's see. Probably not. I don't know. All right. All right. So she should be cooking, but she might not be. Yeah. So straight up, that is a work in progress. So we need to debug that. No shame. But anyway, it used to work. So there might be a missing issue here with but anyway, what you can do here is you can come in here, create a custom dashboard. And by the time this is ready to go, this will be working. But that's what it's like building in public, right? Sharing what you built. But anyway, we give you that ability to come in here and customize, build custom dashboards, custom screens for you to use in your business. Real quick recap. If you kind of caught me and the audio was messed up, this is the mission control, and these are your KPIs. You're not going to see any of this. This is specific to what I'm doing. This is an admin account, but you will have your KPIs up here. You will have your objectives and focus, latest activity. The big thing here I wanted to share with everybody was the calendar, and this calendar is a great tool because it offers visibility into seeing what your agents are doing, seeing what they have scheduled, And you can even schedule things for them to do here. So if you're ever feeling like you're just looking into a black box, you don't know what your agent is doing or when it's doing the thing it says it's supposed to be doing, you can do that all here. And the beautiful thing with the mission control is your agent has access to all these tools within Open Enterprise. So it can click around, it can select stuff, it can deselect stuff. So it's a really, really powerful setup we have here. The next thing I want to highlight is the boardroom. So the boardroom is where all the communication goes down. And what we've done with the boardroom was we've added, we have two modes here. So we have channels and we have stand up. And channels and stand up, channels are like any other thing, right? Telegram, Discord. So you can create agent specific channels. And this is where pretty much a lot of you guys who are familiar with setting this stuff up. And let me check, see if my audio is still on. We're still cooking. Yeah, we're still cooking. All right. Yeah, I'm not on the same screen, so I'll check back periodically. But channels is dope, right? Like this is essentially where you communicate with your agents, your CEO. You can create new channels. You can have group channels. And then the next power feature that no one, like people are sleeping on, is we've added what's called stand-ups. And let me back up here and go into I'm gonna show you guys something super meta. So I built an open enterprise business, or I have an open enterprise account with agents that are going to manage open enterprise. It's pretty meta. So, and you can follow the CEO on X. But I'm going to show you some sauce here. First things first, we had to bring it back. We had to bring back the nostalgia. So as you'll see here, we have this little Pokemon vibe here, and these are your agents. Now we're improving this day by day, but all your agents, they'll walk around here. If they're working, they'll go sit at the desk. If you want to like customize the office, you can edit the room, move furniture around if that's your vibe. I like this type of shit. Is my vibe. I get tired of looking at a Telegram thread. So we wanted to add some character, and we'll probably update this. We don't know where this is going to go, but as of now, this fits within our aesthetic. So anyway, off of that, you have channels and you have stand-ups. Channels are great because these are just linear conversations that you have with your agent. It has a pretty large context. Well, we have a massive context window, and I'll show you why. But this is like any other Discord or Signal or Telegram experience. Now, where we take it a step further, where we enhance, is we have what's called stand-ups. And stand-ups are, if any of you guys have ever worked in a corporate setting, stand-ups typically happen every day. And what a stand-up is it's it usually has one or two goals or outcomes for that stand-up. And it's a place where you kind of tell everybody what you're working on, and you talk about what you've accomplished and what's going to be achieved before the next stand-up. It's sort of like a checks and balances, and kind of also a place for ideas to come and to make plan and strategy, whatever. But we call these stand-ups, right? Like however you want to use it, you can use it. But where it's powerful in open enterprise is we've set it up to where stand-ups are something that you can create or have your CEO create. And it's a place where the agents talk to each other, right? And so with the stand-up, what you'll do is you'll click this, and I'll show you what this looks like. You'll name your stand-up, then you'll give it a purpose, right? So maybe it's Q4 marketing strategy, right? So we'll just say Q4 marketing strategy. Give it some topics, right? New, add, content. We'll just add that. Let me make sure my audio is still locked in. Let's see. Let's see. All right, we still dialed. Yeah, we still got audio. Cool. All right. So um within these stand-ups, you would so you could create a stand-up, you give it a purpose. So this is essentially what the purpose of the meeting is. Give it some you give your team some discussion topics. And then you hit next. Then you can add in all of the appropriate agents. So if it's just marketing, maybe you just add in like head of growth, your CEO. So we'll just add in this. We'll add in this. Hit next. Now, what's nice about these stand-ups is you can set them as like a manual one-time stand-up or a recurring stand-up. And you can also elect for there to be voice output. So maybe you just want to listen to them talk to each other. You could do that. So you can create the stand-up. Boom. Stand-up's created. And then you're going to hit start now. And stand-up is in progress. So they're going to talk. And the agents are discussing. And you'll see it in real time. These agents start to talk. And it's beautiful. Like, now we're getting to that agentic organization thing, right? We're moving in that direction. And like you could see real time, your agents are talking about, I set up a BS purpose, but like Q4, right? Now they're talking to it. They're going to talk it through. They're going to work it through. And then you can come back to this. And you can come back, and when it's done, it'll be like this. I'll show you when that's done. Let's see. Yeah, we'll look at this one. So you can either get a report generated. Maybe you want a report. And you'll get a clean stand-up report of what they talked about. Or, right, you can listen to the report. So maybe you just want to listen to it. Or you can have a meeting audio as well. So these are stand-ups. These are great ways for you to kind of facilitate new discovery with your agents. So like I said, your CEO can set this up. You can talk to your CEO in the chat here. And typically what I'll do is I'll say, like, I'll talk to my CEO. I'm like, hey man, I need you to set up a weekly stand-up with marketing, a weekly stand-up with the dev team. And he'll do it. He'll go set up your stand-up. He'll go, and then he'll put it on the calendar so you can see it. You can see what's happening every week. And that's the beauty of open enterprise. And this is all happening in your pocket, right? You don't need to leave your laptop on. You don't need to have tail scales. You can sign in and have a secure connection. And the cool part is we're going to be coming out with the Boardroom mobile app, completely free. But this is your companion app to open enterprise. So Boardroom app is simple, right? Mainly, what are we doing every day? We're talking to these agents in a chat thread, right? So we wanted to extract this particular feature or this particular functionality in open enterprise and put it in your pocket. So then that way you can quickly talk to your agents whenever you need to, create stand-ups whenever you need to, have them working on your behalf when you're away from your laptop. So be on the lookout for that, for the Boardroom mobile app. But that's the power of channels and stand-ups. Let's hop back in here to see if the stand-up's done. So it looks like the stand-up's done. Cool. Let's say completed. Look at that. So it was like a BS stand-up, but you can see here that, you know, they made some progress. They just like, they talked. Look at that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And you can listen to each of them talk. And I'll show you how to customize that. But yeah, you can listen to each of these or generate a meeting audio. So, all right, moving along, let's go to roadmap. Roadmap is key, right? If you run an organization, if you run a company and you don't have a roadmap, you're slacking, bro. Because people with a roadmap, what is it? It's a map towards the direction you want to take your business. So I've worked in corporate, and as a product designer, one of the things you own as a product designer is you own a roadmap. So this is really beneficial, I would say, for all companies, but especially if you're building some sort of SaaS tool or any kind of tech. a roadmap is key because it sets mile markers for each milestone, or each achievement that you need to hit within the life of the business or within the life of that product. So you can create infinite roadmaps. I don't even create them. I have my CEO do it. And what a roadmap looks like is your CEO will name it. It can add phases. They can define these phases, add milestones, and add as many phases as you need, right? And this will show up on your main home screen, and you can see how your company is moving along towards its objectives via the roadmap. So I encourage every open enterprise user to leverage roadmaps. And if you don't know what to use it for, talk to your CEO about it. Say, hey, we need to build a roadmap. What do you think? So that's key here. The next thing I want to highlight here is workroom. So the workroom is fire, and we need to fix this because this is still crammed. But eventually, we're working through this. It's not gonna be perfect, but essentially what we have is just a UI. I'm a UI nut job, bro. Like I like my UI to be dialed. So this essentially what it would look like here is all your to-dos will be in these like extended card view. And so the purpose of the workroom is if you've worked with any sort of tool that's like a backlog manager, Azure DevOps or Linear, maybe this is like I'm speaking Chinese to you, but this is a great way to keep to-dos really is what it is. This is what's called a Kanban board. There's a bunch of different ways. If you're familiar with what's that one tool that's pretty famous, Trello. This is basically a Trello board. This Trello board is great because it's essentially meant to help your agents. Hold on, let me go back. This is meant to help your agents and you understand what is in progress, what needs review, and what's done. And so this can be anything from planning out the applications that you're building or just basic hold up. Yeah, just basic organization things that are in your company. But what's nice is you have your CEO define and flesh all this out. And then you can have your agents kind of move things along as they are working on a set objective, right? Maybe it's, get the first few features out. And so they'll start to move this stuff along. It gets assigned. Things can run automatically or manually. So that's the workroom. Also, you can see your agents here. The next thing that I want to highlight, which makes all this work smoothly, is memory. Memory is key. Memory allows your agents to have context. So if you're familiar with any of those memory tools out there on the market, just like not to name drop or not sponsored by these people or anything, but like Obsidian or even Dropbox, we've baked that in. So now you have not unlimited, but you have a lot of memory. Like it would take a lot to fill up as the amount of memory we give you, especially considering their markdown files, right? But we are improving this, right? We're in the process of adding, I forgot what it's called, but essentially it's like vector storage, vector memory, being able to pull things by image, right? Like having an image, maybe it's like a pink teddy bear, and you can just type that in and it can pull that. Your agent can pull that, right? Based off of like the semantics. So we're working on that, but what's out of the box is more than enough for what most people need. I think a lot of that other stuff is probably just extra overkill, just makes it a better experience. But a lot of what you'll be working with is you'll be working with a lot of text documents and having a lot of context for your agents to reference all lives here. And we're going to be improving this and making it fast, as well as your file cabinet lives here. So any kind of special documents, important documents, they get put into here. And we also give you like a memory graph which allows you to see the relation between what you have in your memory. So it's a unique way to kind of to visually see the relationship between all your data, all your memory data here, and like how it works together. So I'm going to close that. And then the next part we have here is your treasury. And this is essentially where you manage your plan. You can see your token usage, and your Stripe revenue. So you can track your revenue here. And then eventually you can connect your Web3 wallet. But the most important thing here is we play friendly. So we allow you to right out of the box um, configure your AI tools that you want to use. So we have some presets here. We have Max, Pro, and Auto, and depending on what you select will depend on like the quality of the model being used and how many tokens are being used. And then we also have a bunch of other um, software or AI models you can leverage as well. Over 348. And then we also allow you to bring your own keys. So if you want to bring your own keys, like maybe you have your own API keys with Codex, or not Codex, with OpenAI or Anthropic or Google, well, we give you that ability to do that here. So you can come in here and add your own keys here and use that instead. But we do give you a generous amount of tokens. I think it's 1 million tokens for a like the regular plan. The middle plan, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to butcher it, but it like token usage becomes really, really crazy and expensive when you're building applications. Like when you're building a really, really big software applications, complex things, you can burn through tokens pretty quick. But as you can see here, I've been just playing around inside of Open Enterprise, and I've been doing a lot of admin stuff, things of that nature, and I've only really used 45K. So yeah, it looks like on the enterprise plan you get 15 million. I think it goes down to like 5 million and then 1 million. So there's that. The next part is the team and HR, arguably probably the most important screens in the app outside of your revenue, right? We have some best practices here, right, regarding hiring an agent. So we treat this like you're hiring a real person, really. So these will take you to some help articles, right? And so you can collapse that. We have a full playbook you can use. But then here are your agents. So now you can visually see your agents, right? It's not just a Telegram screen. So you can visually see your agents. And as you see, it's broken up in a traditional org structure. And then you can come in here and you can chat with them directly. You can view their profile. And when they pop up, you can see what marketplace skills they have. You can see the voice, and like, let's say you want to change their voice. You can come in here, edit their voice, and you can change it, right? We have a bunch of different voices here. We leverage 11 labs, so it's the best. And then you can rename them if you want. And then we also have a generator here if you want to change the way they look. So you could just click that and it'll generate a new look for you. You can also fire your agents. So this little trash can here, you can go ahead and fire them and it'll get rid of them altogether. So the next thing is approvals. So these are more specific. Maybe there's like very specific things you want to be a part of, right? Maybe banking stuff or email stuff. That approval queue, those items will show up here. And then finally, where I like to highlight is we have a big thing to highlight here is our marketplace. Our marketplace is full of skills. We have personas in here, MCPs, prompts, um, applications are going to be on their way. These will be third party, so developers, if you are interested in building for open enterprise, this will be an opportunity for you to build open enterprise applications and deploy them to our users. You can honestly manage your app business with open enterprise, so that's kind of cool, pretty meta. But we want to be that baseline, that arc, that OS, right, for entrepreneurs who want to launch agentic companies. And so, what better way to do that is by extending the creative the creative tools to developers. Developers can think of stuff that we can't think of, and they can build it and monetize it on our platform. So this is something that we're going to slowly roll out because top priority for us is security. And then like I said, we have our prompts. So these are all prompts that you can use to talk, to copy and paste into your conversations with your agents. We have MCPs. So we are constantly going to be growing this list of MCPs so you can connect. Our goal is to allow you to connect to every tool out there that has an MCP. We do know, like, on the horizon, like there's new ways for agents to interact with applications. Now you have CLIs. So this space is always going to evolve. But rather than try and, chase two rabbits and catch none, we'll slowly focus on what matters. And right now, what matters or what's accessible is there's tons of MCPs out there. So we're going to slowly start to build out this MCP library. And then once the whole CLI thing kind of matures, we'll add that in here as well. So the beautiful thing is like, as an entrepreneur, you don't have to worry about being up on the latest thing, because it's easy to try and over optimize. What's important is you building your company and running it agentically and making revenue, right? So you don't got to worry about the best new models, or you don't have to worry about all the goofy stuff that's like really not important. It's really, really not important, to be honest. There's benchmark tests and stuff, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, who gives a shit? If you're building a company and you're providing a service to customers and they like your product and they pay, they don't care if you use Gemini, Claude, or ChatGPT. Like, they don't care. So the reality of it is, our goal is to set it up to where you don't have to think about the next tool that you need to worry about. And what's beautiful these is all of our stuff in our marketplace is a one-click install. So you just click this, you install it. Now your agent has access to, using Asana. Now there's a level of setup, which is pretty easy, but it's no different than signing in, to an account with your Google credentials. So, we make it easy for you. And then the next thing I really want to highlight here is personas and skills. So the first thing is personas. So these are robust kind of personalities and character traits that you can give your agents, and they come with a set of skills, right? Like, we'll click on one. But what these persona packs do is they kind of update the soul, identity, memory, heartbeat, and tools to really fit this specific persona. So maybe you need a COO, right? You can install this, right? Maybe you need a chief product officer. You can install that. So we really want to be on the front end of this, and we're slowly building these out. These are all free. We don't believe in charging for this stuff. This stuff's crazy. Like, I don't know. I think eventually you'll see, like, the marketplaces and stuff will kind of fizzle out. I think it's just hype. But you'll never have to pay for a skill, never have to pay for a persona, as long as you're a part of you have an open enterprise account, that's something we'll never charge you for. And we pride ourselves in that. And the beautiful thing is all of our skills, all of our personas, they are safe, right? This is stuff that we built custom, stuff that we've tested, and we have what's called our Guardian. So this Guardian is it scans, not that it needs to, but it can scan skills, and it'll let you know, like it'll keep you protected. As well as we have Marty, our agent, who always audits our skills every couple of days just to make sure things are working and things aren't bad. But these are all skills that we verified and backed by us. So you can confidently come in here, pick one of these, and install it into your into one of your agents. The next thing is skills. Same thing. We do not believe in charging for skills. I think it's pretty goofy. I really don't like it. That's just something I think that's just one way to just kind of get money out of people. It's not necessary. So our goal is to just have every skill imaginable, and you have access to it here. So we have a lot here, a lot of skills. We'll be constantly adding new skills. But anything from Docker to API orchestration to Twitter to email, which is really cool. So what's also nice is I want to highlight is what we do that I don't believe anyone else does is if you pick a skill, let's see, like for instance, this clarity, so this caption compliance. So if you pick a skill, every skill has what's called, not every, but certain skills, we provide you some more context here, and we let you know what that skill works well with. And so you can like pair this one up, caption compliance, with, these three, right? And it works very well. We give you a quick preview. So that's how we handle our skills. And then obviously you have your settings here, which is great. So you can see all your companies. You can see just a high-level view of your plan and usage. And then, you can connect your repositories here. So any GitHub repositories. So if if they're building apps, you can connect them here. And then we have a help center for you about what we do, what Open Enterprise is, and then you can view your change log so you can see what updates we're giving you. So this is Open Enterprise, and part of my Vibecoding series is I'm going to be building and working on this in public, so you'll see more. As you notice on the live, we had a few things we had to debug, which is natural. But I think we got something dope here. I think we're approaching building. We're approaching building for the future differently. You're not going to get another TikTok clipping ad. You're not going to get. We're building for agents, right? We're building for agency, and that's kind of our vibe here. So, if you want access to this, it's not free, right? It's just straight up. No free trial, none of that. But you can join the wait list. And if this isn't for you, I highly encourage you to install OpenClaw, right? By all means, no hard feelings. We want people to use this software. And the goal of Open Enterprise is to make it easy for people without having to worry about terminal commands, CLIs. Just go in, have fun. It's gamified. It's a vibe. It's different. And then launch your company, because that's what's important. So I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. The 3 people who are here, 2 people who are here, whatever. It's been a vibe. I will be on tomorrow. Tomorrow will be less of a product demo, a product pitch, if that's what you want to call it. And we'll be actually working on some stuff. I will be leveraging Cursor. We also have another tool that we're building in this series. It's called Builder, but I will be working on that as well. So I will probably add a link to this in the description if you want to rock with Open Enterprise. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Designer Malcolm, and I will see you guys on the next stream. Peace.